become a cynic about cricket?
Yes.
Because you think the money riding is too high.
Too high, and
But who is controlling the cricket mafia? If there is, when I say cricket mafia, I mean the mafia of the underbelly, which is doctoring pitches, which is asking for matches to be manipulated. Are these bookies? Is this someone more powerful? Like when you look at Rajasthan Royals, where did you trace it back to?
So the 2013 spot fixing case during IPL 6, as you know, was traced back to none other than Mr. Dawood Ibrahim. And we have taped telephonic conversations. We know the entire hierarchy of the booking mafia, that Dawood sat at the top and who were the next rung, and and how through a web of bookies and fixers they eventually reached the cricketers. And
so Dawood Ibrahim is
Yeah.
sitting at the top of the pyramid that is actually looking to manipulate cricket in India.
that's true, and maybe manipulate cricket even outside.
Let's talk about Dawood Ibrahim. At a book launch in Mumbai, you said very interestingly that you once thought that Dawood Ibrahim could be brought back, you called him a certain gentleman, could be brought back from Pakistan using non-state actors, using unconventional means. That this man was Pakistan's never going to extradite him, Pakistan's never going to officially own up to the fact that he lives in Clifton, Karachi. So you said that there was an entire plan, a blueprint drawn up to bring him back, in other words, take him out, like maybe the Americans took out bin Laden from Pakistan, but it was not given a go-ahead. Can you tell us more?
No, there are two operations. One operation was that I was directly in touch with Dawood Ibrahim, speaking to him with due permissions from my bosses.
Can we start there? Tell us about when you spoke to Dawood Ibrahim.
Yeah, so we had a fellow called Manish Lala in our custody, and he said that he could put me across to Dawood Ibrahim, and he said that Dawood Ibrahim was interested in returning.
When was this?
This was in the year 1995, I think.
Okay.
And I took permission from my bosses. I had a secret telephone in my office, and I used that. And
secret telephone means like how many people knew that phone existed?
Very few.
Okay. Okay.
So using that telephone, Manish Lala got in touch with Dawood Ibrahim through a series of what are called cutouts.
Which means?
Which means that he speaks to somebody, and that person says, "Okay, hang on, somebody will call you back."
Acha.
Then somebody else calls back, and then that fellow says, "Okay, you hang on." Somebody, so you cannot directly trace
the number. So is it like a burner?
Sorry?
Is it like a burner phone?
Yes.
Okay, then?
And then finally he spoke to Dawood Ibrahim, and he told him that, well, I'm in the custody of Mr. So-and-so, and he looks like a very reasonable person. And, I myself, there was a backstory to his coming into my custody also, which I have written in my first book, Dial D for Dawn. In fact, the story, Dial D for Dawn, is the story of my conversations with Dawood Ibrahim. So, he convinced Dawood Ibrahim to speak to me. So he spoke to me, and
क्या बोले आप उनको?
He asked me.
Tell us, what's the first sentence? So, you're a police officer. You have been, the whole country, this is India's most wanted gangster. अब आप उनके साथ फोन पे हैं, आप पहले 4 words क्या बोलते हैं उनको?
नहीं, तो मैं बता रहा हूँ. तो मैंने कहा कि हाँ, तो क्या कहना चाहते हैं आप? So he said, आपको क्या लगता है कि मैं बॉम्बे बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट में इन्वॉल्व हूँ? तो मैंने कहा कि आपको मैंने सवाल पूछने का अधिकार नहीं दिया है. आप मुझसे कुछ कहना चाहते थे, मनीष ने मुझे बताया है. आप बताइए आप क्या कहना चाहते हैं. So then he cooled down a bit and then he said, नहीं देखिए, अगर मुझे करना होता तो मुझे कहीं बाहर के लड़के नहीं भेजने पड़ते. मेरे तो अपने लड़के ऑलरेडी बॉम्बे में हैं और ये है वो है, मेरा अपना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है। तो मैंने कहा कि आपके पास क्या RDX भी होता है? So that stumped him. He had not anticipated that. I said, I hope you know that RDX, huge amount of RDX was used during the bomb blast. So you mean to say that you keep RDX, you and your boys keep RDX in Bombay as a matter of routine? So then he said, देखिए ऐसा है, ये टाइगर ने ऐसा किया है, टाइगर मेमन ने ऐसा किया है, उसने ऐसा किया है, मेरा तो कोई रोल नहीं है, मेरी तो बहन अभी वहीं रहती है, मेरी माँ अभी बॉम्बे में ही रहती है, अगर मुझे ये करना होता तो मैं भी टाइगर की तरह उन लोगों को निकाल के ले आता इधर और ये वो। सो ऐसे देखिए, उनकी बात मत कीजिए, आप अपनी बात कीजिए। आपने मनीष को कहा है कि आप मुझसे बात करना चाहते हैं, शायद आप वापस आना चाहते हैं। ही सेड, हाँ मैं वापस तो आना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन मेरी कुछ शर्तें हैं। तो मैंने कहा, बताइए क्या शर्तें हैं? तो उसने कहा कि देखिए, मुझे एक तो सिर्फ बॉम्बे बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट में आप ट्राई करेंगे, मेरा ट्रायल और केसेस में नहीं होगा। जो बॉम्बे पुलिस ने मेरे खिलाफ झूठे बड़े सारे मुकदमे बना रखे हैं, वो नहीं चलेंगे। पहली शर्त ये है। दूसरी शर्त है कि मुझे हाउस अरेस्ट में रखा जाएगा,
जेल में जाएंगे।
हाँ, और तीसरी शर्त यह है कि आप मुझे खुद लेने आएंगे। हाँ, तो देन आई वाज कीपिंग माय बॉसेस इन द पिक्चर। हाँ,
और ये सारा कॉन्वर्सेशन एक बारी में हुआ कि काफी सारे?
नहीं, ओवर इन थ्री इंस्टॉलमेंट्स।
ओके,
सो दिस वाज द लास्ट इंस्टॉलमेंट।
अच्छा।
सो ऐसे, अच्छा ये शर्तें हैं, ठीक है, मैं आपसे फिर बात करूंगा। And then, of course, I shared it with my bosses, and they said, there's no question of any conditional return, and we cannot agree to these conditions.
But suppose he had come back and been tried in the Bombay blast case, he would have been put away for life.
Yeah,
बाकी दो शर्तें तो अजीब लगती हैं,
but so that option was there.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the consensus was that I shall not speak to him any
Anymore.
further.
Do you think that was a mistake?
Perhaps it was. Perhaps it was. It should have been, this conversation and this whole thing should have been pursued.
Why do you think he wanted to come back?
See, contrary to popular perception, these guys in Pakistan, they are second class, third class citizens. They are a burden on the ISI. The ISI abandons them at the drop of a hat. And the reason why the rest of the Memon family returned, they don't feel comfortable there. They want to face the law and be done with it. And not only the Memons returned, there were several others who came back. They came back willingly on their own, and they faced trial, and if they were sentenced, they were sentenced. If not, they were let out.
When you were dealing with the underworld, with dreaded gangsters like Dawood Ibrahim, did you ever fear for your life?
Not really. I will be very honest. My family used to be very concerned.
Did you fear for their lives?
Yes, for my family I was concerned.